In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do your lips, your blush and your highlight. One of the most important parts of any makeup look is your lipstick. Once you do your lips, it brings the entire makeup look together and makes it look coherent. It's important that you pick a lipstick shade that matches the rest of your look. The look I have on right now is a look I've demonstrated before. It's a light, warm toned brown look. For this, I would usually go with like a nude lipstick or something like leaning a little bit pinkish but not too far. The first step to doing your lipstick is making sure that your lips are moisturized. For this, you want to make sure you have a lip balm on, and if you don't have a lip balm, you could use Vaseline. Before you put on your lip balm, if you have like a lot of dried skin on your lips, I would recommend using a lip scrub. You can make a lip scrub easily out of sugar and honey. Once your lips are completely prepped, you're ready to start putting on your lipstick. There's a lot of different formulas of lipsticks you can use. You'll find something that you prefer after trying out a lot of things. The most commonly used lipstick in today's date is the dry down matte lipstick. I don't personally use dry down matte lipsticks on myself because my lips don't really react with the chemicals well and kind of gets crackly everywhere, but it really depends on the person. What I usually like to use is a cream based lipstick. When I do my lipstick, I don't always go for a completely uniform look. I use an East Asian technique where I dab the color on the insides of my lips and kind of blend them out in a gradient. However, this doesn't usually go with all types of looks. For example, right now I have a more Western themed glam look. So if I did something as subtle as I would usually do, it wouldn't really tie the look together well enough. So for today, I'm going to be doing an entirely uniform look. The color of lipstick you choose is heavily dependent on your eye makeup. If you're doing something really cool toned on your eyes and it's kind of light toned, you can go in with a red lipstick. Red lipsticks are really tricky to figure out and you have to make sure you have the right kind of look to go with them. Otherwise, red lipstick can be really stark and trashy looking. The kind of look red lipstick usually goes with is something like cool tone and light. If you're using red lipstick, you need to remember that it's a really bold statement. So if your eye makeup is already really flashy, then I would not recommend using red lipstick. The kind of lipstick you use also heavily depends on your skin tone. If you're looking for a nude lipstick, it's important that you take the tone of your skin into consideration. If you use a nude lipstick that's a little too light for your skin tone, it's going to look really stark. So it's important that you keep trying on and swatching lipsticks to make sure you have a shade that completely goes with your skin. Lipstick is something that's really personal to people. It really depends on what kind of look you like and what you're going for. The only thing I can really teach you is to make sure that the lipstick you're using is completely coherent with your eye makeup. For example, if you're using like a warm toned look like this, I would recommend something, like I said earlier, nude or slightly peach toned. If you're looking for something like darker, if you're looking for like making this look something for the night, you can also go in with like a darker, kind of purple leaning tone. The one thing I would recommend for if you're doing like a warm toned look on your eyes, make sure you have a warm toned lipstick as well. This rule doesn't really apply as much with cool toned eyeshadow because cool toned eyeshadow gives you a little more flexibility with the kind of lip color you use. But when it's a warm look as this one, you want to stick to like a warm palette with your lips. For the purpose of this video and just to demonstrate like a lipstick shade, I am going to be using a dry down matte one. If you're gonna pick a dry down matte lipstick, then I would definitely recommend this one. It's the Super Stay Matting by Maybelline. This one, no matter how weird your lips are with dry down mattes, this will stick on for like at least long enough. This really stays on your lips unless you're using a lipstick remover. It's really hard to get it off. So I really recommend this one. It also has an easy to apply brush tip. I don't really know what we call these. Okay, the shade that I've picked is kind of like a terracotta mixed with like a pink. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like a warm toned peachy color. This one I know for a fact goes with my skin tone. But when it comes to lipstick, you're really going to have to go through a lot of trial and error to make sure you have the perfect shade for yourself. So don't worry if the first shade you try on isn't perfect. You can take it off and put on another one. This happens even with professional makeup artists. Lipstick is really tricky to figure out just from looking at it. When you're applying your lipstick with an applicator like this, you want to start with your bottom lip and at the edge of your mouth. So you start right at the corner of your mouth and kind of drag your way to the border of your lips. Make sure you're following the natural shape of your lips when you're applying your lipstick. Don't try to overline too much just with your lipstick. Remember, precision is something that comes with practice. If you mess up the first time, a trick I like to use is taking a Q-tip and dipping it in some makeup remover and just cleaning up around the edges of your mouth. You can also do the same thing with concealer, but I find that Q-tip works a little bit better. you're starting at your top lip, I like to make my first stroke like this. Like, start with your applicator held this way and kind of hold it at your cupid's bow and make like a streak like this. Do the same thing on the other side of your cupid's bow. Once you kind of mapped out the shape of your cupid's bow, you can go ahead and fill in the rest of your lip again, sticking very close to the border. You can keep your lips slightly parted while doing your lipstick. I find that gives you a little more control. So with this, you have your lipstick down, and remember, lipstick is something that comes with a lot of precision. So this is something like for the day, and next I'm going to show you how to work with some other different formulas. Next I'm going to show you how to work with like a cream based lipstick, like a stick one, not one with an applicator. This is a small lipstick from Estee Lauder, and it's very used because I use this shade a lot. And it's a little bit darker than the one I used last time, and it's a very like neutral, like nude shade. It leans pink obviously, but it's a really pretty color. So even though usually your lipsticks won't be as finished as this, so don't worry, but if in case your lipsticks are like completely over and you can't really use the lipstick directly anymore, you can use like a small like applicator brush and just like use the lipstick with that. That's something that we use on clients as well, and you can use it on yourself if you can't really get the lipstick on the thing on the stick anymore. Okay, so I'm going to start the same way. You start at the outer edge of your mouth and kind of build in the border. With cream lipsticks, what I like to do is finesse with my fingers a lot. So I don't really like a harsh line at the bottom of my lip. So what I do is use my fingers and kind of blur it out. Like so. Just continue and fill in your bottom lip first. Cream lipsticks usually give you like a more light and natural look than a matte lipstick would. And I completely prefer these, but it really is up to the person. Some people don't really gel well with cream lipsticks. If you're somebody with very large lips, then I really wouldn't recommend cream lipsticks, as matte lipsticks will make your lips look a little bit more compact. When I do my upper lip with cream lipsticks, I don't completely go all the way to the border. What I like to do is finesse the edges out. So you lay down your lipstick like a little bit further from the border of your lips, and you take your finger and kind of like push it upwards a bit to fill in the rest of your lips, but it's not like a harsh line. And this usually works well with cream lipstick because it makes your lips look a little bit more naturally tinted. So just like that. So now you're done with your lipstick, and the next two things I'm going to show you are blush and highlight. So now these two are essential parts of your makeup, but there's no real theory to it. It's just a matter of where you're applying it, and it's kind of the same with like every face. So the first thing you're going to apply is blush, and again, blush kind of depends on your skin tone. For this kind of look, I would choose something like kind of peachy, and I pretty much use the same blush no matter what look I do. It doesn't make that much of a difference unless it's like a really stark tone. Okay, I'm using this blush by Tarte, and it's like a light peach tone shade again. And this one doesn't have a lot of pigmentation, so you can kind of go in heavy with your brush. The brush I'm using is a large fluffy brush with like a tapered ending. You can also use the same kind of blush you use for bronzer. So once you have like enough on your brush, what I like to do is smile first so you know where your cheeks are, and you kind of just apply it on the apple of your cheeks. So right there. I like applying blush really close to my nose because that kind of gives you like a natural flush. Some people also apply blush like closer to their cheekbones because it gives you like more of a cut. Fun fact, in olden days before like contour was really a thing, people actually used blush like in their cheekbones, the place you would use contour or bronzer, to like define their cheeks and give them a bit more bone structure. Also, when I say olden days, I mean like 20 years ago. Contour was kind of a thing that only celebrities did and not really something that people would do on a normal day-to-day basis. So to cut like your jawline and your cheeks and stuff, people use blush. So now you have your blush on. I also like applying blush like on the tip of my nose. A lot of people do this nowadays. I think it actually looks really nice. Blush isn't always powdered as well. There's actually a lot of different ways to use blush. A really old way that people did is using rouge on your face, and you can actually still do that to this day. I believe that you can create an entire makeup look with like 2 products if you're determined enough. So I usually use a little bit of lipstick on the apple of my cheeks, like a little bit of cream, and kind of rub that in. That gives you a more natural flush as well. You also get liquid tint blushes and stuff like that. You can use a lot of different things and see how they work with you, but you also have to remember the kind of makeup you have on underneath. So if you have like a liquid base set down with setting powder underneath your face, I don't really recommend cream blush or anything with like a liquid consistency, because that might mess up the formula of the makeup underneath. So if you already have like a base down and setting powder on top, then use a powdered blush. Right now, I don't have a liquid base down, I have a powdered foundation and that's it. So if I use like a cream blush or if I use like some lipstick, or if I used a liquid blush, it would be fine. You can keep finessing your blush as much as you like. You can also use blush like near your chin and your forehead, any place where you just want to kind of lift out some color, or if you want to make it look warmer. You can also use blush as eyeshadow if you don't want to do a complete coherent look, and if you just want to step out of the house with some color on your face. The next part is highlight. Now, highlight is something that's really trendy, and a lot of people like using a copious amount of it, but it's important that you use like just the right amount. Because highlight is essentially putting like a metallic reflecting shade down on your face. So if you have too much of it on, you're gonna look like the Tinman. It happens. Don't underestimate how bad highlight can make you look if you use too much of it. So when you're using highlight, you want to make sure you're minimalistic and you're applying it only to the high points of your face where you want light to reflect. So the most common place where people use highlight is obviously at the top of their cheekbones right here. Now there's a lot of different brushes you can use to apply highlight. I'm going to be showing you 3 that are really common. One that's kind of like a larger fluffy brush like this, a fan brush, and something flat-ended if you want the pigmentation to be more concentrated. The highlighter I'm going to be using is the Master Chrome by Maybelline. This is a very like heavy reflective highlight, and I don't always recommend like really heavy reflective stuff for everyday use. But this is like a completely coherent glam look, so I'm going to be using this one. A highlighter that's really light to use and good for day-to-day wear that I completely swear by is the Essence Daily Nude Highlighter. I think that's what it's called. It's like a really light shade. It can go with almost any skin tone. That's from the light to medium range. If you have a deeper skin tone, then I'd go with something a little darker. But if you have like a skin tone that's close to mine, that one's really good. It goes on easy. It's not too harsh. But for right now, we're going to be using the Master Chrome by Maybelline. This is also a really good highlighter. I think it's great. It's a little bit difficult to open, but formula-wise, I think this is a winner. So at first, I'm going to show you how to use it using a small fluffy brush. It's kind of like an eyeshadow brush, but it's a little larger than I would use for eyeshadow. So you take some at the end and you tap it off. Make sure you're tapping a lot of it off, because with highlighter, you want to build. And you just go right at the ends of your cheekbones. Remember, you just want to bring light to this area to give yourself a little bit more bone structure. So don't go too overboard. Unless you're somebody that wants like a lot of highlight for like a picture or something. But if it's a real life situation, I wouldn't do like more than this. So that's how you would apply it using a small fluffy brush. The next brush I'm going to show you is something flat-ended like this. The handle of this is broken, because I don't take good care of my brushes, but you should. Don't use me as an example, your teacher that's teaching you this course. We can ignore certain things, it's fine. So, again, same method, just take this at the end. Now remember, this is gonna give you like a more stark appearance of highlighter, so unless you want something really stark, don't use something like this. So I'm again tapping a lot of it off and putting it down on my cheekbones. So even though this lighting is not optimal to showcase highlighter, you can already tell this is way more reflective than that side, simply because of the difference in brush. Highlight you would apply on the tip of your cheekbones, and while you're at it, kind of at the arch of your eyebrows. So this is where you would regularly apply highlighter. You can already notice the difference between the two sides of my face, and the brush has made that difference. Another brush that people commonly use for highlight is a large fan brush. So again, it's the same method. You would kind of dab it in and just brush it along the edge of your cheekbone. This is a brush I most recommend using for highlighter, because it just gives you like a light brush of reflection where you need it exactly. and it doesn't lay down something too harsh like the flat-ended brush, and it doesn't make it too concentrated like it would with the small fluffy brush. The next places other than your cheekbones that you want to highlight are the tip of your nose, your cupid's bow, and depending on your face shape, maybe the center of your forehead. Some people also like to highlight on their temples to make their foreheads look larger. I already have a normal to large sized forehead, so I'm not going to be doing that on my forehead. People that have like smaller foreheads, you can make them look larger by applying some highlight above the eyebrows over here or at the center of their face. So the next place I'm going to apply highlight is the tip of my nose. For this, I like using my finger, just tap into the highlight slightly and just brush along the tip of your nose. You can kind of also go up the bridge of your nose and between your eyebrows, which gives you like a nice highlight between them. And the last place is right at your cupid's bow. You want to be very light with this one. This just kind of makes your lips look larger and gives them more definition. Highlight also kind of depends on what you like on your face and what you think looks good on you. So it's completely subjective. You just try out a bunch of things and see what you like best on your face. Thank you for watching.